Healing chronic pain and symptoms is possible. Most of us, when we start to have chronic pain, chronic fatigue, chronic dizziness, other chronic symptoms, we do what we've been taught. And what the medical system has taught us is to treat the physical body, do all the physical assessments, go to every physical treatment imaginable, surgeries, injections, all of this. The problem with this is we've known for a long time that the majority of chronic pain and symptoms is not a physical issue. Yes, for example, when you sprain your ankle, there's acute injury that's taken place and your brain is clicking on pain because the brain and the body are communicating correctly. Body's letting the brain know, hey, there's something wrong. Brain clicks on pain. The problem is when pain becomes chronic, when chronic symptoms become chronic, they shift away from, areas of the brain associated with like acute pain. They shift towards emotions, learning, and memory. And so that a lot of chronic pain, chronic symptoms are really not a physical issue. They are a brain and nervous system issue. When we talk about neuroplastic pain and symptoms, what occurs is the body's actually okay, or it was injured, but now it's healed. And neuroplastic pain and symptoms occur when the brain and nervous system is stuck in a state of danger, in a state of dysregulation. And healing is possible for the majority of chronic pain and symptoms, but it's not going to occur through treating the physical body. For myself, I had widespread debilitating chronic pain almost a decade ago. I had it for about 3.5 years, and I did everything I could to treat it physically. I went to every specialist, every doctor, every physiotherapist. I did every physical treatment imaginable that I had access to, and my pain just got worse over time. And I didn't realize it, but healing my symptoms was fully possible. Now, about a year before I became pain and symptom free, I was hanging out with my friend, and my friend knew what was going on with me. He knew I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to really move. And he told me something. He was like, Tanner, by next year, maybe it's possible that you won't have chronic pain anymore. Now, at the time, I was angry. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like, I've been in debilitating chronic pain for 2-3 years at that point. And I was angry, I kind of ended the conversation, but it opened me up to this idea of like, is this possible? Is this possible that by next year I could not have chronic pain and symptoms? And by the next year, I didn't have chronic pain and symptoms. I was fully healed, fully moving my body, fully working. But that comment, it opened me up. And I knew I had to stop trying to treat my symptoms physically. This was a personal choice. I'm not saying you need to do this, but it's something that was part of my healing. And so I started to research. What are alternative ways to treat chronic pain, chronic symptoms? What are more holistic ways to treat them? I started to learn about the mind-body connection. I learned about Dr. Sarno, Dr. Schubiner, started to read their books, and I realized that healing was possible by treating my brain and nervous system, that I could heal. And that belief didn't click on right away. That's why I'm making this video, to help pump you up that healing is possible, to motivate you to do the work. But you don't need to believe it fully. It took time for me to start to fully believe that my symptoms were neuroplastic and that I was able to heal. And when we talk about healing, I want you to know that healing is possible, but essentially we need to do 5 things. There are more simplistic approaches out there. For some people, a very simplistic approach works, but as human beings, we're complex. And so I hate to tell you this, but the solution to healing neuroplastic pain and symptoms, it is more complex in nature. There is nuance to it. And that's why when I'm working with clients in my clinic or in my digital course, I have people focus on 5 areas. Number 1, change your thoughts and beliefs. Change your thoughts and beliefs about your body, about your pain, about your symptoms. Understand that your body is not actually physically damaged or diseased. You can heal, And using this approach, you will get better. Again, you're not going to believe it fully at first, but we're starting to change the thoughts and beliefs. Number 2, retrain the brain and use exposure. Retrain your brain. Train your brain, rewire it out of chronic pain and symptoms. And how we do that is we start to change the nervous system response to the pain and symptoms. Instead of having this response of fight, angry, frustrated, flight, anxious, fearful, freeze or shut down, which can look like despair, hopelessness, helplessness, numbness. Instead of having this dysregulated response to our pain and symptoms, we move towards safety and connection. I have a great embodiment practice that we utilize at my clinic. I'll put it up above and down below. Check that embodiment practice out. It is a brain retraining practice that's going to help you rewire your brain. The second thing you need to do is graded exposure. I have a great video on how to start to move your body again, how to start to break all these associations, like with movements, positions, foods, time of day, certain environments. You can rewire your brain to no longer produce pain or symptoms with those things. With neuroplastic pain and symptoms, there's nothing wrong with the body. And so we can rewire it out of that, but we need to do the exposure work. I'll put that video up above and down below. Check that video out if you need some support with graded exposure. The third area that's going to make healing possible is nervous system regulation. Learning to regulate your nervous system, help you attend to states of fight, flight, freeze, or shutdown, create safety with them, and overall be in a more safe, connected state throughout your day. By doing this nervous system regulation, it can help to shift us out of a state of danger that's been perpetuating our pain and symptoms forward for a long period of time. If you're new to nervous system regulation work, I'll put 7 steps to regulating your nervous system. I'll put that down below. It gives you a good 101 of what to do here. The fourth area that we need to focus on for a lot of people is the processing of trauma. Trauma and chronic pain and symptoms, they are best friends. Even if you face childhood adversity decades before your chronic pain or symptoms came on, you are much more likely to develop chronic symptoms, even way later in life. You're about 2.7 times more likely to develop chronic pain, chronic fatigue, other chronic symptoms if you face trauma in your past. So we've known this connection. We've known this for a long time, that there's a connection here. It's just no one was dealing with it. No one was actually understanding that, I need to process my trauma. I need to work through traumatic memory. I need to work through trauma that's been trapped in my body, all this dysregulation. And that's hard work. I don't say that lightly, but I have seen so many clients, so many people work through their trauma, process it, which is really hard to do. It takes a lot of courage. I'm not saying that it isn't hard. And then have their pain and symptoms, reduce even further or become dissipated. So processing of trauma can be very essential. The fifth area that's going to make your healing possible is creating social safety. Learning to live life differently. No longer use unhelpful coping mechanisms like perfectionism, people-pleasing, excessive conscientiousness, excessive control. Starting to live differently. No longer hiding out from the world, isolating, having no social connection. We're now approaching life differently and we're creating safety, social safety. The other thing is changing factors in your life. Work, school, family, friends, community. I don't say this lightly. These are harder changes to make, but I've seen people change their lifestyle and I've seen people change, factors in their life, and their body feels safer, their brain and nervous system feels safer, and their pain and symptoms reduce further. So I'm here to tell you healing is possible. It might be a bit more complex than you would like, but that's why I made this channel. I have so many videos on here that I'm giving you for free to support you in doing this. If you're finding my free content's not enough, I do have a therapy clinic, Pain Psychotherapy Canada. We're able to work with clients located in certain provinces in Canada. I also have my digital course that I'll put the links for both of these down below. My digital course, it has everything organized for you, what you do first all the way to the 10th, all the practices. There's over 60 plus somatic practices, brain retraining practices in that digital course. So I have a lot of this on my channel, but that's kind of like, the approach on steroids. There's a lot in there if you need it. So in either case, whether you're using my free content or my paid content, I wish you all the best in your healing. Please know that when our pain and symptoms are neuroplastic in nature, that healing is possible. It might be complex, but it's possible and you can do this. So I hope this video was helpful. Please put your questions or comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care.